Okay. So, one sec. Okay. Now I'm going to be talking about virtual reality. We've seen augmented reality. We've seen that augmented reality is basically computer graphics being put in our physical space and us experiencing it through a mobile phone, or a mobile phone with a camera, obviously, or glasses. Now, virtual reality is 100% digital experience. So it's a simulated experience that can be similar to or completely different from the real world. Like, it's completely different. And I'm going to play this video next. It's a walk virtual reality experience by PlayStation VR, and you would see what happened in this video, and you would see the person wearing the headsets and get a glimpse of what they were seeing. But I'm going to fast forward it a bit because
you're going to die.
It's quite difficult to do that. Okay, so I'll start from like here.
PlayStation VR, based on the movie The Walk. So, as you may or may not know, The Walk's based on a true story of the man Philippe Petit, who walks 40 meters across a tightrope between the two towers in 1974. He didn't have any safety gear or anything at all. So, we're going to have you walk about 3 meters, and I have your safety gear. So, if you can make it to the end of this cable, I'll help you turn around and come back. Easy as that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's virtual reality. So, do make sure you look all around you 360 degrees. And try to look down, give yourself a little scared, because that's the fun part. And then, if you want to stop, just go like this. Take the headset off.
Sweet.
Cool. So left foot on the wire.
Left foot?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, this is true. All right, got this.
So you can see what she's seeing, right?
That boots is not a great choice.
Okay, now turn to your left.
Oh, yeah.
Come back.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
So you can see that as she's wearing the headset, this is what she's currently seeing. Right? So it looks like she's outside in the real world. I mean, computer graphics anyway. It looks like she's outside in the real world, walking on a thin rope. But in real life, that's not the case. So this is basically what VR is. As easy as it is to get, like I got like 2 videos for AR, and it was easy to see what the person was seeing and get a full glimpse into the experience. But I mean, for VR, except you're the person actually experiencing the thing, you might never really understand what is going on. But if you've maybe gone to some of these malls recently, Maryland Mall, ICM, for people that are in Lagos, gone to any mall recently, or even gone to a tech event where they have like a booth and there's like a VR headset there, wear the headset and experience VR. Basically, you see that it's a whole different ball game. And a lot of people use virtual reality today in so many different ways. Right? You can see people using virtual reality in tourism, like, okay, you are in Lagos, but you wear a headset and it looks like you're in California, because you can see a lot of amazing things. Or you are even in a bus, right? Maybe even a bus that they're shouting yaba yaba, but you wear a headset. And obviously you wear the headset and then you wear like headphones. So you feel like you are on a boat cruise. Because when you look around you with the headset on, all you can see is water and your boat. And then you are hearing like the different sounds of water and everything. Use it in medicine today as well, like doctors like practicing for surgeries and different things before they actually go and do like the actual thing. In education today, for people that want to learn about something, like people use in education today. I wrote medicine and I wrote healthcare. I don't know why I wrote both, but well, they're both like the same thing in my opinion. Construction and even real estate, like you can literally have a virtual experience or have a virtual tour of an apartment that you want to buy before you actually go ahead. And maybe if you want to buy an apartment in, like, I don't know, you live in Lagos, you want to buy an apartment in Abuja and you haven't seen the apartment yet, so you can take a virtual tour of the apartment before you are maybe free. Maybe just imagine you wanted to buy an apartment in Abuja and then there was lockdown for whatever reason. You can take a virtual tour of the apartment from your house because you have a headset, and maybe you can now decide to go and see the apartment later on physically, right? And you can do that because you have access to a VR headset or you have access to virtual reality technology. Entertainment for me would be VR, would be concerts. Entertainment for me would be gaming and a lot more other fun things that you can do with VR. It's basically infusing computer graphics into your, well, not using computer graphics to create an entirely new space for you to interact with. And the next, which is my favorite, is mixed reality. And if you started this talk from the very beginning, where I played two videos, the mixed reality video that I played of the woman showing us how the HoloLens, which is the same device I'm wearing on my head in this picture, by the way, and Tony Stark video that I played at the very beginning of this talk, that was a mixed reality experience. And I'm going to be explaining, as I've explained AR and VR, I'm now going to be explaining mixed reality for the better half of this presentation. We know what the world is. Looking at this diagram, right? Mixed reality is basically where the computer, the environment, and human interaction actually meets, right? And I'm going to explain these three things for a way that it makes sense. So looking at how the computer interacts with the environment, right? It's perception in some type of way. It is perception. When you're looking at, okay, I have a smart fan, for example, right? I have smart devices in my house, and there's this fan that is supposed to be really smart, and the fan is supposed to like run faster or blow more air when the temperature in the room is, above 20 degrees. I don't know, right? Because it's a bit hotter. And when the temperature in the room is below 20 degrees, it's not supposed to run as fast, because that means the room doesn't need much air to be circulating. So that's your computer perceiving the environment, basically. I mean, with the help of AI, artificial intelligence, and a bunch of things that exist today that makes it easy, and like sensors being around to help the computer basically understand what's going on in the environment, perceive the environment as it is, And the computer and humans is basically human-computer interaction. For example, I carry my phone and I open Instagram and I post a picture. Or I'm on my laptop right now and I press the keyboard and something appears on my screen. I press O on my keyboard when I'm in like Google Docs, for example, and I see O on my screen, right? That's human-computer interaction. As a human being, I am doing something to the computer and expecting that the computer responds and shows me something. What they taught us in primary school, even if they didn't really teach us even if they didn't tell us the complete thing, but the entire input, processing, and output thing. So that whole chain is more like a human-computer interaction type of system. And humans perceiving the environment is the normal human interaction, like you sitting on a chair, you looking across the window and seeing your neighbor's house. You carrying a stone and throwing it on your dog because he's misbehaving and he's barking too much, whatever you like. So that's more your actual reality, things that you can see. You throwing your clothes into laundry, doing all of that stuff. And then mixed reality is basically human-computer interaction, perception, and natural reality blended into one thing. And as we could see in the video of the woman, her name is Julia. We could see in the video that I played at the beginning of Julia using the HoloLens, and you could see all these things. The holograms were in your space, right? So the holograms were in the same room that you were in. And that's an element of like the actual reality and perception working together. So it knows that, okay, this is probably like a wall. It knows that, okay, this is a room. This is this. I can be here. When she snapped her fingers and she showed us that the HoloLens recognizes the world, we could see that there was like a whoosh, like 2 seconds of holograms just looking at the walls and the floor and just going away. So that's perception and actual reality, right? And now human-computer interaction mixing with perception and mixing with actual reality. As you can see, she played a holographic piano and we could hear the sound, right? She was using sliders. She was basically able to, because of perception, because of computers understanding the environment, because of perception and actual reality, open her palm and a bird could actually stay on her palm. And anytime she moves her hand, the bird follows her. So that's basically, those three things working together is what makes it possible for mixed reality to exist today. And this is what I would call a mixed reality spectrum, where we have the physical world on one end, 100% physical, the world that you can see right now, and the digital world, 100% digital on the other end. The 100% digital world is the world that exists through virtual reality, as we saw the PlayStation VR video just now, right? Augmented reality interfaces with the physical world a lot more, right? Because you can see that augmented reality, when you use like glasses or when you use a phone, you can still see everything around you. You can still experience your physical world, but you also get different graphics being placed into your world when you're experiencing AR through whatever device you're using it to experience, you're experiencing it with. So AR is something that you experience when you are also still experiencing, the physical world, the physical around you, right? And mixed reality is seated well in the middle of both of them. So you can achieve 100% mixed reality when you are at the middle of the spectrum, where you are experiencing things in your physical world. I mean, when you wear the headsets, you could see Tony Stark, you could see Julia. When you wear the headsets, you can still sit down on your chair, your physical chair. You can still touch your physical wall. You can still watch your TV if you want to. But at the same time, you now have digital objects in form of holograms placed in the same room as you. And unlike AR, where you can just see them, in mixed reality, you can interact with them. Same thing with virtual reality, where you can use those different motion controllers and all of that. In AR, in MR rather, you can also interact with these digital objects. You can move holograms around, right? You can resize them, you can touch them. There was a holographic piano and it was played and we heard the sound, and a lot of all of these things that can happen in the spectrum. And I'm going to be talking about the different ways that you can build XR experiences today, right? You can build it through social media. I talked about this thing earlier on, where people actually experience AR through Snapchat filters as well. I mean, you can see this. I'm sure these things will look new to you. I'm hoping these things will look new to you. Via mobile apps as well. We've seen the Sephora app, that was used, the makeup app. That's okay. Before you buy makeup, you can see what it looks like on your face before you go ahead and make a purchase. We saw IKEA as well, so we can experience AR, and we can experience AR through mobile apps. You can also experience XR on the web, right? With tools like WebAR and WebXR. It makes it easy for us to experience XR on the web as well. So we can actually have, like, if you look today, Audi is using XR on the web today. If you look at this environment closely, it's just a road. But somebody that probably wants to buy a new Audi car has put this car on the road using AR, and they can probably go around the car to see what the car looks like before they go ahead and make some kind of purchase. You can also experience XR through headsets. This was me giving a talk at the Open Source Africa, at the Oscar Festival that happened earlier this year in February. And I had the HoloLens on, which is the world's first holographic computer, basically, the MR device. I had it on and I was showing people how you can do XR things. So the screen behind me is where everybody could see what I was seeing. So I was imagine looking at the crowd and being able to put a burger on somebody's lap. The person can't see the burger because they're not wearing the headset, but you can see the burger. So I basically did this thing where I was looking at the crowd, and the crowd could see everything that was going on. And I went to put a burger on a speaker's lap, and I gave her the headset to wear, and she saw that burger directly on her lap. And I remember that day that the entire crowd was amazed, because it's not a video that people could see that things were infused and they're probably lying. This thing was done live, because as I was doing it, people were seeing it on the display on the screen. If you want to start building different XR experiences, whether you want to start with AR, VR, or mixed reality, which is something that is coming up now, you can go to these links that I have here: WebVR, WebXR, WebAR, Stereo Kits, and then the Microsoft Docs or Babylon JS. You can use, if you know Unity and Unreal, it would be amazing for you to start with those. However, if you don't feel left out, because I remember saying that you can build XR experiences on the web as well. So if you are a web person, that's still very fantastic. You can get into WebVR, WebAR, WebXR. You can use tools like Babylon JS to build web XR experiences. If you're a mobile app developer, that is, you don't need to learn like a whole new skill to be able to use these things. You just need to learn, in the particular domain that you know. As a web person, you might want to start building XR on the web. As a mobile person, you might want to infuse AR to your mobile app or mobile app experience. As a game dev that already knows Unity, you might want to start building, games for VR headsets. So you can always transfer your current skills. It's not like something that would require you to go and become like a whole new person if that's not who you want to be. And you can also decide to be an AR, VR, MR developer regardless, right? So this field, this domain is something that is flexible enough and can allow people transfer skills as well when you think about it. And if you are someone that likes to write C++, there's also something called DirectX. DirectX is a framework that allows you to build some of these experiences as well. And at the beginning, when I said this thing, that if you can imagine it, you can build it with XR, and I played the first video, somebody told me that it was kind of abstract and almost impossible to do the thing that Tony Stark did in the first video that we watched. But we're coming to the end of this same talk, and we can see that it is in fact possible. I'm going to leave you with this, and I want you to always have this mindset in whatever you do. If you can imagine it, you can build it. There's even a chance that you can imagine it, someone somewhere is already building it. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I'm going to say thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them now.
Wow. Awesome section. So guys, let's start dropping questions in the chat sections. We have, but I really don't know what to say. Can start dropping questions now. Okay, Miss Adora, is it possible we have the link for this slide or even the slide itself, ma'am?
I will send the link to the slides so that you can go over them as many times as you want.
Okay, ma'am. Now, first question, it says, how large will the virtual and augmented reality consumer market get?
I read an article sometime early this year that in about 2022 is going to grow to some $1 million. I honestly don't remember. I don't want to give a figure that is not correct, but I'm just going to tell you that people, Business Insider, different people have forecasted that the XR market is going to grow pretty large pretty soon. The exact figure I don't remember right now, but if I find that, I can always share on social media for anybody that is interested.
Okay. Now, personally, I think because I'm currently a tech specialist for both strategies. Now, we are having the next gen of office we are looking at, the next gen of market we are looking at. It's going to be XR. So that's just a basic tip into the next picture. It's going to be XR basically. So you can imagine it's like I call it the tech for the next generation. That's basically it. Now the next question, it says,
I want to say, which is even if people did not think XR was important before, when we look at what this pandemic has done to us and how people are finding new ways to interact virtually, and how we've seen that virtual interaction are kind of like important. A lot of businesses are looking into how to make different virtual interactions from video calls down to XR experiences work for them and work for businesses. Because yes, things are opening up soon and people will go back to what they think is now. But the truth is that some people like me have become so spoiled during this pandemic. They become so used to sitting at home and not going all the way somewhere to do something, because nobody likes to be in traffic. So people are beginning to find that things that they didn't think was possible before are now possible. A pandemic made a whole Andela become a fully remote company, made a whole Intellia also go into fully remote operations, right? They didn't say, oh, we'll be remote during the pandemic and after go back to normal. They became fully remote forever. Twitter as well, right? And we've seen the impact that this has made across different businesses. And we've had a lot of conversations on businesses actually trying to use XR work for them going forward. And even before XR, a lot of businesses trying to use it to make, especially like commerce businesses, make their customer experiences a lot easier. I talked about IKEA, I talked about Audi, I talked about Sephora. Even in Nigeria, there's a company called Taylor, which is a furniture company. Anybody that comes to Lagos and knows this place we call Danfo Bistro knows that Taylor did the furniture in Danfo Bistro. And Taylor is using AR basically to help their commerce experience a lot better. So basically, before you can buy some kind of furniture, you can see what it looks like in your space and all that before you go ahead to pick it up. So you said the next question is, are there jobs for XR developers? There are beginning to be jobs for XR developers. I think I sort of started talking about the answer to your question in the other thing that I was saying, because people are seeing that this thing has potential, so they're beginning to be jobs for XR developers. However, it's not where we want it to be yet, because it's still a relatively new technology. And like I said, these XR skills are transferable. So if you're already a web person, right, you can start building XR tech into your web experiences that exist today. If you're a mobile app developer, same thing. If you're a game dev and you already have Unity or Unreal experience, same thing, right? Because most times that's what happens. XR is not something that would exist on its own. It's something that you experience through something. You get what I mean? So if you were already building experiences for that certain device, it's just like, let me just add XR to this device. And I do not think that, and I believe firmly that jobs exist for web developers and mobile app developers and game developers. So these people still create XR experiences. I mean, these people still they just plug into these different. I mean, Google has like their SDK. You know, Microsoft has a couple of their different SDKs, and these developers just connect to them and then use those things to build experiences. I hope I've answered your question in some way.
Amen. So the next question, the person says, are there lasting physical effects to using virtual reality and augmented reality?
I don't understand what that question means.
Probably from using the virtual goggles and all. Does it have like a physical effect to the human body?
Like, does it affect your eyes? Or
Yeah, I think so. That's what it does.
I think it now. I think it now depends on the headset that you are going to use. Because I'm not even going to try and lie to you and say it does, or I'm not going to try and not lie to you and say it doesn't. But I think what I was trying to say was the other way around. I'm not really sure. English is confusing. But what I'm trying to say is, I think it depends on the headsets, right? That you use. Do you get what I mean? Or I think it also depends on last. Everything has lasting physical effects. If we don't want anything to have physical effects, let's all go back to our villages and do nothing. But as something as basic as your laptop, you staring at your laptop screen a lot has an effect on your eyes, and that's the truth because of the light. You watching TV a lot has an effect on your eyes. You using headsets a lot has an effect on your ears. So I would say do things in moderation, and then possibly don't, like, anytime I'm wearing the HoloLens, for example, I try not to make the lights. I try not to increase the brightness to the highest, especially when I know I'm going to be wearing that device for like a really, really, really long time. So I think it just depends on you and the amount of things you can carry and how you now, because everything will always have settings, right? So this thing is too bright for you for whatever reason, you can dim it down, and that's no problem. If this thing is too tight for you, for your head, you can loosen it up and different things like that. So I don't think that should be.
This question says, how expensive are these virtual headsets? For instance, the Microsoft HoloLens you mentioned. What's
So
the
the
average cost
HoloLens,
we get it in the market?
the HoloLens is not a consumer device. It's more for businesses. Like a lot of businesses use the HoloLens for different things, in factories and other places. So it's a pretty expensive device. However, there are relatively affordable VR headsets that you can use. You can even decide to do. I think glass. No, those things. I think it's digital, right? Which is pretty affordable for me, in my opinion. Or since we're talking about XR and not necessarily VR, once you have your phone, you can experience some of these things. So I think that's it. Yeah.
So this person says, does XR have a default API which can be used during web development?
You can use the different, so like I said, different companies have their different SDKs. Apple has theirs, Google has theirs. I think Mozilla is what powers the entire web XR on the web space. So with the WebXR, WebAR, WebVR specifications, you can build XR for the web. If you can use things like A-Frame, these are 3D libraries that allow you to render 3D graphics on the web. A-Frame and Babylon.js in conjunction with WebAR, WebXR, or WebVR, those specifications, you can build XR.
Okay, now, two more questions before we call it. I think our time is almost up. This person says, can XR be used for data analysis and visualization?
Um, mixed reality probably. Mixed reality probably. I would say yes because I mean, especially the visualization part of all the drama, right? Looking at looking at data, looking at graphs, looking at trends. It even makes the experience a
Realistic
lot
and
more
visible.
immersive, if that makes sense. So yes, I would say yes. Actually, not even only mixed reality, all of them can be used to visualize data to make numbers come to life in some way.
Okay, last question. This person says, I think you've answered it, but anyway, this person says, apart from experience XL, the process of building one from a particular idea, what are the basic knowledge one has to have?
Building one from a particular idea, if you are building on a mobile phone, for example, I think you can use AR Core or AR Kits. AR Core is from Google, and I think AR Kit is from Apple. You can learn how to use one of those. You can learn Vuforia. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's also an SDK that you can use. There's also MRTK if you are building. It's something that you can use. These things that I've mentioned are things that you can use when you are trying to use Unity to build, right? But if you're just building like some kind of Android app or iOS app, yes, you can use AR Core and AR Kit in Unity. You can use Vuforia in Unity. You can use MRTK in Unity. But you can also use AR Core in like a normal mobile thing. You can also use AR Kit in like a normal iPhone thing. Because I mean, AR Kit is for Apple and AR Core is for Android, right? And I think I've talked about
Yes.
using, if you're someone that already knows how to write C++ and you're trying to build XR experiences, you can use this framework called DirectX. I think I've also talked about building for the WebAR, WebXR, Babylon JS, and A-Frame. So, like I said, these skills are transferable. The amazing thing for me about XR is that you don't have to go and learn like a whole new thing just so that you can call yourself an XR developer to build something. You get what I mean? It's
Okay.
like you were a web engineer, right? You're a front end developer. You were already doing Vue.js before, and then you have to go and learn next. It did not. It didn't make you a new developer. It didn't make you like a completely new developer in a completely new domain. You are still a front end web developer. You just had to learn an extra technology. Same thing with this. If you're a web developer already, you can pick up Babylon JS, you can pick up WebAR, WebVR, or rather, you can pick up WebAR, WebXR, and that can get you closer to learning how to build XR for the web. If you're a mobile developer, you can pick up AR Core or AR Kit, depending on who you build for, whether it's Android or iOS. You can learn how to use these SDKs, read their documentation, read articles about them, you know, and then you can start building stuff for mobile developers as well. If you now say, okay, you are just someone that wants to try something else, Facebook has this Spark AR thing, and you can actually use that to create Instagram filters. For example, there's Spark AR as well, right? You can also, if you're a game dev or someone that's been using Unity or Unreal for a long time, you can learn AR Core, you can learn AR Kit, you can learn Euphoria, you can learn to use MRTK, and you can build these experiences. And the amazing thing for me about Unity is that you can target, like,
Wow.
because cross platform, like, you can target so many devices at the same time, and that's what makes it nice. So I would say, in this early stage with what the world is becoming, if you can pick up these few skills, that would be very nice. But make sure the skills you pick up are still at least in a way related to your current domain. So if you're building web applications, be building XR on the web, mobile, be building XR on mobile apps, Unity, be building XR on headsets and all of that, just so that you don't go and change your entire domain or your entire focus. I think we have less than a minute now. So
Okay.
I think You should.
No, thank you very much, Miss Adora. Thank you very much, Miss Adora. Now, guys, there's something I want to say. Now, one of the main facilitators, one of the main reasons this event is actually possible is because of Mr. Ahmed Agoboshegbe. Mr. Ahmed is the VRAR Association President Chapter of Nigeria. Now, Mr. Ahmed is somewhere around here. Mr. Ahmed, can you just say hi to us? Hello, Mr. Ahmed.
Hey, hi everyone, and awesome presentation, Adora.
So, guys, can we all say thank you to Mr. Ahmed? Can we all say thank you to Mr. Adora? Can we all unmute our microphones and say thank you to RepoTecc? Thank you, Oduduwa University. Thank you, NUESA. Thank you. Oh, we have facilitators from Footmina. I can say Footmina.
Thank you all.
Really appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. So guys, we'll be dropping like connections for you to join the VRA association for any questions on the group chat we created. So there are going to be connections created on the group chat if you want to reach out more to know more about VRA. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an awesome time with you guys. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys will use the things you planned today for the betterment of your lives and destinies, because this is Nigeria. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, Ms. Adora. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you, RepoTecc. Thank you, NUESA. And that's. So see you guys later. Bye. Remember, stay safe, stay productive.